Tonight on Lost and Found. 25 years ago, Simona was rescued from a Romanian orphanage and given a new life in New Zealand.
I'd get verbally, racially told to go back to my own country.
Now she's heading back to Romania to try to find her birth mother.
It's where I came to sign the consent.
No, I don't have any idea why I was given away.
And it may not be possible to find the answer. Do you have any records here?
No.
Families that are lost and found.
It's angry for many, many years, but
They're always unpredictable.
Hi, my name is Simona and I was adopted at a very young age from Romania. I have a son now and I would like him to know where he's from and who his family is. I've always wanted to know my birth mother. I also know I have brothers and sisters over there. Can you help me, please?
In order to move forward, sometimes you have to go back. Simona Watkinson is 28 years old, almost exactly the same age her Romanian birth mother was when she handed over her baby to an orphanage.
Do you want to pick some more flowers over there, Griffin?
Today, Simona works in a paint shop and is a single mum to 3-year-old Griffin. Griffin's dad is not involved in raising his son, and Simona brings him up with lots of family support.
No?
I got the high style to make you smile when I'm a mile above the ground. I like to watch the world go round, yeah, baby, I'm a go.
So you want some help to find your mum in Romania?
Yeah, I do.
In New Zealand, you walked into quite a family, didn't you?
Well, I came into a rather large family, actually. I've got a brother and 2 sisters, and I grew up with a family dog and a happy childhood. You know, got taught how to speak English and learn how to swim. But when it came to primary school, I'd get verbally, racially told to go back to my own country and who are you and where are you from, and I couldn't answer those questions. And those taunts and things that I received from the children, it made me feel like an alien because I don't have that knowledge of where I'm from and who I'm about. I'm a Kiwi at heart, but there is part of me that's missing and I need to know what that part is. I'm wanting to know what that part is. My birth mother, I think she was a very strong woman to give up a child. In regards to my own son, you know, that I would never have been able to give him up for adoption. You know, that's not something that I would have been able to do. That's a very hard thing for a mother to do, to give her child away. And I think she's a strong woman for that.
For the past 25 years, Frances Watkinson has been Simona's mother. You were a mum with 3 teenagers. Why did you go to Romania to adopt a child?
we went to Romania because we heard in the media all the terrible things that were happening to children. And one of my sisters told us that that's what they were going to do, and we had had that in our mind for a little while, and it just really cemented the idea that we might help a child, that we had room, that we had love in our hearts, and that we wanted to share that with a child who perhaps didn't have those opportunities.
When Frances and her then husband went to Romania, they'd already seen terrible television images of abandoned children. Many were severely traumatised, starved and tied to chairs. But nothing prepared them for the horrors they were to witness.
We saw children lumped together in groups. Some of the things in the bedrooms and bathrooms were appalling. Children eating while sitting on the potty. Our worry was that these children were going to have difficulties developing into normal, functioning adults.
Frances, a social worker, understood family dynamics. The prospect of adopting a child that had been potentially damaged by the orphanage experience did not faze her.
Once we met Simona, there was no way we wanted to leave her there.
The Watkinsons took lots of photos. Daughter Andrea was 8 at the time of Simona's adoption.
You actually picked us, because we went into the orphanage and there were all these kids, about 17 of them, and the man who took us in went to the staff and said, "Where's the child, Simona?" And by then, you had done this flying jump into your father's arms, and he turned around and the staff said, "That's Simona." And he said, "How did you know that was the child, Simona?" And we said we didn't. But it was because you were the oldest in that group, and I think that you had a bit of mana.
The Watkinsons were just one family of 150 from New Zealand who went to Romania to help and brought children back to raise them in what they hoped would be a better life.
I don't see her as not being my biological child. I don't ever think there is any reason to see her differently than the other three. She's just my daughter.
You were very smart when you came home. You still are.
I'm quite a confident being.
We couldn't believe how beautiful you were, and that if this was going to be for real, that we would get so lucky. You know, like, you were beautiful. You had dirty hair. And you were very smelly, but you were beautiful.
During the adoption process, Simona's birth mother was required to sign a consent form. So Frances got a fleeting glimpse of the woman who was giving Simona up.
I wanted to tell her about me, sort of to say, you know, Simona's going to be okay.
How does it feel for you that your daughter is now looking for her birth mum?
I'm really, really excited, even though this says not excitement. I am really, really happy for her. No matter what, I just want her to know what her birth connections are, but also how that fits with her culture and her heritage, and to be able to pass that on to her little boy. It's important to me that she does it, and I'm 100% there with her.
So this is the story of Simona's two mothers, the one who gave her life and the one who gave her a home. Simona, thanks to Frances, has her full adoption records, although much of it's in Romanian. She knows her date of birth, her name, and the name of her birth mother, Maria Motok. And from what Frances has told her, it appears she had brothers and sisters. I need to find someone in Romania to help me, a person on the ground with local knowledge. Oh, hello, is that Mihai? Look, I'm looking for a bit of help. I'm coming to Romania shortly to try and track down a woman, and I need not only help with interpreting, but a little bit of help with searching for her. That sounds like you? I head to Romania to find a woman who may not appreciate me searching for her. That's if she's even alive. Romania. I arrive in the city of Iași and then head to the northeast of the country, to the town where Simona was born. Up until 1989, communist Romania was behind the Iron Curtain. But after the fall of dictator Nicolae Ceausescu and his speedy execution, everything changed. Since 2007, Romania has been a member of the European Union. I'm in Suceava, a city of over 100,000 in Romania's northeast. Mihai Radu, a Romanian journalist and interpreter, briefs me on how things work in Romania. It's a country of red tape. There's bureaucracy everywhere. Finding Maria Motok won't be easy. The good news is that Mihai has found the location of Simona's orphanage and has official permission for us to visit the next day. Great square.
Yeah, typical communist square. Center of the town.
Yeah, very utilitarian.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. A communist block of flats all around. I made a call to the town hall of Liteni where she was born, the mother of Simona.
Okay.
Looks like nobody knows her. Usually in small villages, they know each other, they know where they are and what they do.
So what do you recommend next?
Since we are in the town of Suceava, I suggest to go to the orphanage, see whether the orphanage is still in place,
yeah,
and hoping that they will get some, they will have some a phone number or something.
Sounds a good place to start. Let's go. When the regime collapsed, around 50,000 children went into state care, about half into orphanages. You think this is the orphanage?
Yeah, this is the orphanage.
Most were not actually orphans, but in a country in economic ruin, their parents, including Simona's mother, couldn't afford to look after them. The paintings and all that, it certainly looks like it could have been, doesn't it?
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Go and see, eh? The building is now offices for the Romanian Child Services. All that's left of the old orphanage where Simona spent 18 months are murals painted on the outside walls. We have luck. One of the administrators used to work at the orphanage. So this definitely was the orphanage?
Deci aici sigur a pus un leagăn de copil, nu?
Da, leagănul de copii Sfânta Maria Suceava.
E de orphanage, St. Maria Suceava.
And how many children were here?
Până în 2004 au fost circa 400 de copii.
Up to 400 children. And we, the social worker, we try to get the children out of here into foster families.
You used to work here, didn't you? So what was it like for the children?
Erau încăperi mici în care erau cazați copii 0-3 ani.
There were small rooms with children 0 to 3 years old. Imagine lots of children and very little stuff. So imagine the conditions.
We're trying to find what happened to one child and trying to find her birth mother. Do you have any records here which could help us?
Deci nu putem...
No.
Okay, thank you anyway.
Welcome.
It's good to get a sense of where Simona lived. If Simona's mother, Maria, is alive, she could be anywhere. Many Romanians have become economic refugees, which means they now live and work all over Europe. We need official help, and in this former communist country, that means the police.
I have good news. At the preliminary search, they found her in the town of Radauti. She is there temporarily.
So she's alive?
She is alive and well.
Before we head to Radauti, 40 minutes drive away, I decide it's time to call Simona back in New Zealand. Oh, hi, Simona. It's David here.
Hi.
Hi, Francis and Andrea.
Hi. Hi.
Well, look, as you can probably see, I'm actually here in Romania. I'm in Suceava. And we've made a bit of progress in trying to find your mum.
Yep.
Look, I just have to stress, though, we haven't found her yet.
Okay.
But it's good knowing that she's alive and that she is in Romania.
Really?
And we know which town she's in. I was wondering whether you could come over here to Romania, because I think we can find her.
Seriously?
Shaking like one thing.
So, do you think you could come over?
Yep, definitely. Yep.
I don't believe it. I'm so happy for her.
So you better start learning a few Romanian phrases.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I look forward to seeing you here.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Not only is Simona coming, but her family has decided that Francis and Andrea will both come to support her. Meanwhile, Mihai and I head for Radauti. It's a town of 20,000 people. Hopefully, we'll find Maria Motok before the Watkinsons get here. But we strike a problem. The local police have no record of Maria Motok, so we visit the local council in the hope that they may have some information.
Well, I think we should go to this office here in Radauti and look, to see if they have something more appropriate. If not, I think the last resort we have to either ask people on the streets or knock.
The local council also has no record of Maria. We don't have time to wait for official help, so we have no choice but to start doing our own detective work.
Simona, cauți o familie Moțoc, Maria Moțoc pe strada asta, știți cumva?
Nu.
There's a cyclist. Do you want to stop the cyclist and see if we can get him?
Familie Maria Moțoc pe aici, pe strada asta, știți cumva? Moțoc. Of this family. Bine, bine, mulțumesc mult. Sată, no, he doesn't know.
Finally, we find someone who tells us she knows where Maria Motop lives and can give us directions to her house.
Pot să vă întreb unde stă, știți, o doamnă Maria Moțoc?
But it's the wrong address. I'm beginning to wonder if I'm dragging Simona, Andrea and their mother halfway across the world, only to disappoint them. Simona Watkinson, the 28-year-old former Romanian orphan, is back in her homeland on a quest to find a mother who abandoned her. Supporting her, her New Zealand mother and sister, Frances and Andrea Watkinson. With virtually no memory of Romania, Simona is eager to understand the country she left behind as a 3-year-old in 1990.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Look at this.
The colours of the roofs are quite vibrant on these houses.
Oh my God, look at this horse and cart coming up. Wow.
Despite the fact that Romania is one of the poorest countries in Europe, life is now more prosperous than it was at the time of the Ceausescu regime.
There's something to be said for keeping your history, isn't there?
Culture.
Not just going ultra-modern. I saw a lady leaving that ate pretzels on it.
Oh,
Oh, goodness, look at these.
can I get one of these chocolate? Yes. Just one. Thank you.
Happy?
It's really good. Still can't even believe that I'm actually here.
Do you want me to pinch you?
Frances is recalling for Simona what she can remember of the adoption process all those years ago.
I think this is the building. This is where we came to meet Maria and get her to sign the consent.
Does it look still the same?
I don't know. There's a familiarity about it, but remember, it was all winter.
Yeah. What did she say to you or look like it on that day that you spoke to her? Here?
Well, I didn't speak Romanian and she didn't speak English, but she was short.
Yeah.
She had on a scarf and I could see that she had fair hair. And she had a small baby with her and she seemed to me to be a lovely person.
For Frances, coming back to Radauti evokes a strange mix of feelings, some relating to the past and some to the present. Simona, who left Romania when she was barely 3, soaks in the sights and the smells as she struggles to reconnect with her origins. Amazing country, isn't it, this? Church was here 300 years before Tasman got to New Zealand.
It's almost unbelievable, isn't it?
What do you think life would have been like for Simona if she'd stayed here?
Yeah, in the early years, I think it would have been fairly harsh. I think she probably would have stayed in an orphanage until she was 15 or 16. And then I don't know what from there on.
Being here must be quite hard for you because essentially your daughter's come looking for another mother.
I'm just really glad that I'm part of it with her. I just feel happy for her that she'll get some answers about who she is and where she came from. Like the others, she's my daughter. And I'm still her mum. And her birth mother is an important person in her life.
And you, are you ready?
Hope so. Yeah, hope so. I feel excited, but I also think, gosh, I don't want her to be hurt. I suppose that's the big thing. I just hope it's all good.
Heard you say, meet you in the long grass.
The Watkinsons have been in Romania for 3 days. If it's a deeply emotional experience for Frances, it's even more complex for Simona.
It's quite a surprise, actually. I was expecting a lot more sort of poverty, so it's actually quite nice to come here. It's like a breath of fresh air, and it makes me feel whole. Whereas, you know, I feel more at home here than I do in New Zealand, because I know that my family is here somewhere.
Do you have regrets about going to New Zealand or being taken to New Zealand?
No, not really. Just knowing that what life would have been like back when I was adopted, I think I got given the opportunity in New Zealand to be able to grow up and live and know how to be a person. I have regrets of the way that I felt about being adopted and being taken out of my birthplace and then taken to another place and having to learn how to get by not knowing your own native tongue, and having people treat you differently because you're not from around there. Whereas here, now that I've come back to Romania, I feel like I'm more, that part of me still here, and I'm needing to get that part back.
Your mum did try to give you some Romanian upbringing in New Zealand.
I think I probably get more of it while I'm here than when I was growing up in New Zealand. I have more of an understanding now of what Mum had told me and taught me about Romania. Now that I'm actually here, I kind of get a fulfillment of that information and I understand it more now than when I did when I was younger. Now that I've come here and I've kind of think about some of those things that I've thought or possibly have said, I regret thinking that way. Now that I'm back here, it makes me feel alive more. I feel like I've got closure now that I've come here, but more closure when I get to meet my mother.
If you get to meet her.
If I get to meet her.
There's a little girl on a swing over there. Do you ever think that could have been you?
Yeah, I do. I do. It could have been me. But then again, if I had been being in an orphanage, I don't think you would have been given that opportunity to be able to be in the park and playing on a swing. But if my mother hadn't given me up, then I don't know. I probably could have been that kid on that swing over there.
Don't you feel the time has come for you to see the light?
Mihai, meanwhile, has made some progress finding an address for Maria. So, you think it's the lady reckons it's going to be this house?
Yeah, definitely this house.
Let's hope it's the right woman.
And she's willing, because it will be a big surprise on her.
We now know where Maria lives, but we have no idea how she'll react. Is this the right lady?
Yeah, she's the one.
Huh? So, we've found her. This is Simona's birth mother.
She's the mother of Simona, finally.
We tell her that her long-lost daughter is looking for her.
She's in complete shock. She's very surprised at our visit, So she has to think through. I'll give her my number and, I'll ask her to call once she settles and talk to the other members of the family.
It's impossible to tell whether Maria is happy or angry. I decide this is not the moment to show her the video message Simona has done for her.
Thank you.
This feels like it could go either way. How do I tell Simona that her mother might not want to see her? When I did the video call to you in New Zealand, and I said that your mother was alive when we were searching, and I said there was jeopardy.
Yep.
Well, I met your mother yesterday, and there's a big but.
Yes.
She's in total shock, and she's at the moment hasn't agreed to meet you. Simona Watkinson is a 28-year-old mother from South Auckland. She's in Romania with her mum and her sister, hoping to find her birth mother. Well, I met your mother yesterday, and there's a big but.
Yes.
She's in total shock, and she's at the moment hasn't agreed to meet you.
It's understandable.
Mihai and I met her, and as I say, she's in total shock, but she has Mihai's number, and hopefully she'll ring either this evening or tomorrow morning and let us know whether she will meet you. She did say she'd thought about you.
Is she far away, Dad?
It's about 2 kilometres away.
She's so close.
Yeah.
She is.
We need to give her a bit of time.
So, it's not great news, but it's progress.
Well, at least she knows I'm here.
She knows you're here. She knows you're looking for her. A nervous 24 hours.
Yes.
Waiting on her birth mother's decision is hard for Simona. So to help fill in the time, I ask our interpreter, Mihai Radu, who was a student during the communist era, to tell Simona about Romania's dark days. So Mihai, when Ceausescu got overthrown, what was life like here in Romania?
It was no food available on the market, power cut, no heating in the homes.
So it would have been tough for like my birth mother and 3 or 4 children back then.
A single mother without being married in the communist Romania, oh, it was outstanding, outrageous.
Was it a common thing for a lot of children to be sort of adopted out or put into orphanages?
Oh yeah. They just couldn't afford to raise them. This was a problem. No money, no food.
The expected time of Maria's call comes and goes. Mihai and I sit down and try to come up with a backup plan. But then...
Radu? Să nu la moțoc, să rămână. Ce faceți?
I have no idea who Mihai is talking to.
Noua Zeelandă vor să... Da, știți cum au venit până aici. Good news. Just call us. She's good to go. Sorry? Just Maria Moțoc. Just called me now. She said no, she's willing to meet Simona. It's good. Cheers. Yeah, good news. Yeah.
Maria has said she will meet us, but will she really come? It's a nervous wait. We don't know how she really feels about Simona
Should be coming.
and the adoption all those years ago. So what time was she going to be here?
2 o'clock.
Just hope she turns up. Be interesting to find out what she's thought about all these years.
Să rămână, ați venit.
Hello again.
Bună ziua.
Thank you.
Salut.
Maria brings her 2 youngest, Paul and Alexandra. Both were born into the new Romania, but it's the bad old Romania I want to ask her about. What happened? Why did you give her up for adoption?
O să vă întrebe de ce ați dat-o pe adulți sau ce s-a întâmplat, de ce n-a sau care a fost, de ce?
Tata ei, când așa ne-a dispățit, erau niște probleme, știți, cum era sistemul la noi și așa, eu trebuia să lucrez, nu avem ce face cu dânsul, cum mai avem frate mai mare, Tiberiu, Cariere, cu Zoe, naștere în Timișoara. Să vedem, poate, e de acord Simona să mergem până la Lesă sau chiar nu poate să vină.
So Simona has a full brother.
Deci Simona are un frate din același tată.
Da, același tată.
Yeah.
După aia, excelență cu, numai de pe...
But then his father came and took him away from me and raised him somewhere else.
După aia, excelență cu, când a murit tata copilului, a murit are 2 ani. 2 ani. E 10 aprilie.
Maria explains that Simona was adopted because the man she describes as her husband, who's now dead, did not want to look after another man's child. When we knocked on the door and said Simona is looking for you, how did you feel?
Pe noastră, cu ce a simțit? Care a fost prima reacție? Cum?
Reacția așa, nu știam ce să fac, să plâng, să râd, nu știam ce să fac. Nu știam cum să mă manifest bucuria asta. Liliana, ce că face, e programul 2. Și mă uitam și la desene așa și mă gândeam, zic, măi, zic, ce?
Simona has done a message which she would like me to show you.
Au filmat-o. Vreți să vedeți cum arată?
Da, vreau să văd.
Yeah, please show me.
Okay, right, so Maria, if you push that button.
Apăsați dacă apăsă Paul sau așa, domnul, așa.
Hi, Maria. I've been looking for you. If you've seen this, it means that David's found you. I really would love to meet you and see who you're about. I've thought about you many years and wondered, you know, where you're at and how you are. I've grown up Kiwi here in my backyard. I just feel like something's missing and I would really love for me to meet you and get to know who you are and so for you to get to know who I am. And I would really love for you to say yes to that.
Foarte mult. De-abia aștept să o strâng în brațe.
I would like you to meet also. I would like to hug you.
De-abia aștept să
I hardly wait to see her, to hug her.
Și pe persoana respectivă care a crescut-o, de-abia aștept. Seamănă exact
She
cum eram
resembled to
tinerițele
me
când eram
like I was young years ago.
And Paul and Alexander, you happy to have a big sister?
Paul, Alexandra, sunteți bucuros că aveți o soră mai mare? Persoana noastră cunoaște cu soră, da?
Listen.
Yeah, they are very excited. They look forward seeing, meeting Simona.
That's great. Maria was 22 and unmarried when she got pregnant for the first time with Simona's older brother. It was a time when contraception was outlawed in Romania. She went on to have 6 children. As we've heard, Simona's full brother was taken away when Simona was just a baby. Despite her hardships, Maria has had the same job since she was 16. She varnishes wood in a furniture factory, but at 51 is hoping for early retirement. The past 24 hours have been tough for the Watkinsons. Lots of tea and lots of tears.
Hiya, David.
I've got some news for you. We got a phone call last night and I've just been to meet with your mother again. And she'd love to meet you.
When? Yay.
We met her down at a local park and showed her that video you did. And she was in tears watching it. She said she'd never forgotten you and always hoped that you would return. She told us that after Mihai and I had met her that Thursday, that she went inside and cried, and her children came in and said, "Mum, why are you crying?" And she said, "Because my daughter's coming back."
It's wonderful. I almost feel like I've gone full circle now. This is me. This is my place to be. I get closure from it.
She's very excited to meet you too, Francis.
She is.
We're a twosome. We get one without the other.
So, happy?
Quite happy about it, really, and a lot more. I'm clear on where I stand in the world and where I stand as a person, more than anything. And it's enlightened me. It's actually made me feel a lot better as a person. Because I was angry for many years, Mum. And I'm really sorry. That constant why me? And being told by many people that I should feel grateful that I got adopted out and...
Yeah, it's still normal too.
So, Francis, 25 years ago you came to Romania to try and help a young child, and you ended up with Simona.
Yep.
Today's the day she's going to meet her birth mum. So I'm going to leave it to you to organise taking Simona to meet her other mum.
Thank you.
Right. Off you go, take her over there.
Come on. You know, there's still some things I feel like I need to say. And you know that this is about happiness. And I knew we'd be back to do this. Because this was as much of your life as it is what has been with us.
Yeah.
It's the right time, sweetie.
It totally is.
Doing so well.
Simona Watkinson, the girl from South Auckland, is about to meet her birth mother 25 years after she was abandoned at a Romanian orphanage. Supporting her are her mother Frances and her big sister Andrea.
A new day.
And a huge addition to your life.
A different way that I'll look at life.
Just around the corner, Maria is waiting. So too is one of Simona's half-sisters, Raluca, who has arrived overnight from Germany.
Simona? When I saw Simona hug Maria, I thought that this is a life-changing event for her.
It's been so long for me to wait to be able to see her and be able to hug her. It's just amazing.
Simona's so nice. How are you?
You look just like my brother.
Yeah.
Yes, you evidently, I don't know, your eyes.
Yeah.
Yes. He was happy, emotional.
O bucurie e... N-am cuvinte să spun.
She don't have the words to describe. It was so emotional, so happy.
It's fitting that Simona has two sisters here, a Romanian one and a Kiwi one. And each is supporting their own mother.
Hi, I'm Andrea.
Hugging Maria, I just felt really grateful.
So good to see you.
I'm really happy for her as she's connected with her mum.
Ea nu m-a menționat așa ca tine, nu? Mi-a rămas. Trebuie să bun.
Can you say to Maria, Simona has her two mums together?
Spune că Simona are două mame acum, nu doar una, îmi precisează.
Having both my mums there, it's so surreal. It's like a dream. It's just wonderful. It's amazing.
For Maria, the return of her daughter is a blessing, and she needs to take Simona to a special place. A devout Romanian Orthodox, she takes Simona to where she often prayed for her return.
This is the prayer to baptize you. Yes.
My mama took me to the church that I was baptized in.
Maria, Mama Simona.
My birth family, being a religious family, was quite a moving time for me, I think, because I didn't realise that I had the religious roots.
You need to kiss the ash. And
Doamne ajută, pe frunte.
Să nu la mână.
Frunte.
Când ai fost botezată, mama a vrut să te inițieze să fii creștină.
when she was born, my mom said,
Ai avut un înger păzitor care te-a păzit tot timpul.
was baptized because you need a guardian angel, because you need something to take care of
Așa au
you.
fost pătuieți, mama.
Yeah. She was.
Tot timpul ai avut un înger păzitor, tot timpul m-am rugat pentru voi. Sănătate.
For our health.
Chiar dacă nu mă...
What is that? Fish?
Maria has prepared a Romanian feast to celebrate Simona's return. And at the dinner, another of Simona's sisters, Anastasia.
So you two are half sisters. Yes? Yes.
Anastasia cannot understand how her mother could have given a child away. She wants to know why it was Simona and not her, the baby at the time, who was placed in the orphanage. For the first time, Raluca and Anastasia discover that it was their father who didn't want Simona.
I'm really pleased that we've had this conversation because it was an important one to have.
Simona now has the answers she was looking for, including the name of her birth father, and may one day try to find him too.
I'm a lot more happier now than knowing where I'm from and who I am, definitely. It's cleared a lot of darkness from my life, for sure.
Simona has not only met her birth mother, Maria, she's also met her Romanian grandmother, and she's been in contact with her full brother, Tiberu, who she hopes to meet one day. Back in New Zealand, Simona's happily keeping in touch with them all.
The most significant change I've seen in Simona is that she's a lot lighter about who she is. It's one of the best things we've done. We have this other whole family that are part of us because of Simona.
They're both very strong women, and it was good to see them reunite again and almost like as though they were best of friends.
Next week on Lost and Found.
I was buzzing out far, man.
Growing up without his father, Ted was shocked to see him on TV. He last saw his mother when he was 4.
The circumstances were pretty unpleasant.
And a broken family.
I mean, I don't know anything about where I come from.